Hello everyone, this is Lori from Grammy's Keepsakes, and we're going to continue my August design team project for Artzology, and this is what we're going to make today. And again, I'm using the Even More labels on Artzology on Etsy, and this is number 249. And you get them in the 3 colors. And then also these collage tear sheets, number 255, in these nice fall autumn colors. So I'm going to set those aside. And what I've gotten done so far is I have cut this 7 inches, and it is, I just cut the white margins off, so it's just over 10.5. And then I coffee dyed it after I printed it. I have a laser printer, so I can coffee dye afterwards, and it doesn't smear any of the printing at all because it's toner. So that's what I've got to work with so far. Let's open this up and take a look at it. I have a little button closure. This little label here, I've glued it on 3 sides to make it a pocket for a little ticket. Open it up, and we have a little tablet here out of some cutoffs, and behind it I have a little pocket with just a scrap of some coffee dyed paper. And in this little pocket here I have a collage tag that I made using map and music paper and some green masking paper and some chemistry, physics formulas, and I put it on the inside of a file folder, a hanging file folder, and I just cut it 6 inches by 2 3/4 and punched a hole, put some reinforcers that I colored with the vintage photo ink, and just put a string on it, a little piece of jute, and I stitched all the way around it. So pretty simple collage tag, but that lives right here in this pocket. And then this charm was gold, and I really didn't want it gold, so I used a Copic marker in brown on number E79, and I just colored it in so I got more of a bronze tone to go with these fall colors. So let's make a new one. And I like to measure so that I get it right, so I'm going to use my scoreboard. And again, it is 7 inches. And I'm going to play it by ear here to see where I want the flap. And what you do to find out which way you want your flap, just go ahead and fold a little bit and see which one you like. Definitely like this to be my flap. So I'm going to put it in the scoreboard with the long side at the top, the print at the top, so that when I score it, the mountain is here, because I'm going to fold it that way. And the first place I'm going to score it, yeah, if I remembered right, 2.5 inches. So just score it there. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold this. I suppose I could have written my measurements down, but I would have lost them and then I'd have to start over anyway. And I'm going to score this at 3 3/8. And I'm going to score this one, I think, let's double check. Yep, at 7 inches. And I've got this folded over. That's where I got this 7 inches from. Otherwise, here we have score marks. If you want to write them down, 2.5, 5 7/8, and 9.5. And here, this 9.5, I want it on this side. So we don't need the scoreboard anymore. Now I'm just going to fold them on all my score marks. I'm going to use my corner rounder at the 1/2 inch and round the corners of my top flap. And then for here, I want a little bit of a pocket, a thumb notch on my pocket. So measure 3.5 will give me my, yep. And so make a mark. That's where I'm going to put a little divot. And here I'm going to use a 1.5 inch punch. You can use whatever you have, or you don't have to do it at all. But I'm going to have a little bit of a notch there. And I don't need that anymore. I'm going to go ahead and use my vintage photo and ink that up. This back part will not be seen, or yes, no, this will be seen, this one won't be, because I'm going to glue it into my journal and make another pocket behind it. So just going to ink around it a little bit, just kind of quickly. I can ink more later. Excellent. Okay, now this button for the closure, I need that next. So I want to mark my center and make a little mark. I'm going to use my 3/4 inch circle punch, and I've got a scrap. Here I've got a scrap. What I did was I glued this onto some very lightweight chipboard, and with the Fabri-Tac. So I've got a decorative but sturdy little circle. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this on too. So we can cut our circles. It's like the thickness of a cereal box. That's how lightweight it is. And also, because I don't want it too much heavier than that, or my punch won't punch it. And then I'm just trying to figure out which colors I like better. This one's a little white, so I think what I'm going to do is just grungy it up a little bit. Oh, much better. Okay, I'm going to put it like that. So I'm going to use my pokey tool. Roughly find the center and poke a hole in both. Well, I don't want to poke myself. And now I'm going to grab the crocodile, the really small one, and go ahead and try to punch a hole centering that in there. Okay, I want to make a couple little spacers, and I do that by using this little tiny hole here. Just punch, and one more. And then I use the 1/4 inch office punch and just try to get over the, try to center that hole. And then I've got my 2 little spacers. With this little chipboard, then I don't need to cut so many. If it was cardstock, I would double it. And I'm just going to glue it on. And use my pokey tool and kind of go around the inside to make sure that I have it centered so my eyelet will be able to go through the hole. Get that on there. Okay, that's going to be good. Now, I need to poke a hole in here. I need the great big one for this. And the 1/8 inch. And go in there and on my hole, well, let me double check before I do it that it's, I can go up just a little bit. Let me make a new mark because I don't want to get off center. Okay. I'll just erase that a little bit. The button will cover it. And then for this side, I want to, for some more stability, I'm going to cut some cardstock, just 2 circles. Well, I need a hole in the middle of that one. And I'm going to place I don't want my eyelet to rip through my paper. It is heavy matte photo paper, but still, it is just paper. So I'm going to use some cardstock to help alleviate some of the stress on it. And then we can put our button on. And again, with the eyelet, I had these really bright ones, and I didn't want them so bright, so I used that brown Copic marker. It's alcohol ink, and I just brushed it on so I have a little bit of a browner tone of eyelet, so it works better for me. I'll put that into eyelet mode. Yeah, your alcohol markers are a wonder. They will change the color of a lot of things. And there we have our eyelet all set. Got to double check, make sure I've got it on the right side. I didn't put it on the back. Okay, so now we can go ahead and glue this pocket shut. We've already done our inking on the top, so I'm just going to put a bead of glue here on the edge and on this edge. Look at all this stuff in the way. And then just press it down. So now we have a pocket for our tag. Okay, then here I've already made a little tablet, and I just cut some offcuts at 3 1/4 inches wide by 6 1/2 long, so it would fit into here. And then I sewed a piece of some other coffee dyed grungy paper, just stitched across it. You could staple it, glue them, or I just went ahead and stitched it. But let's go ahead and put our pocket here, and then we'll glue this down. So I'm going to ink the sides of this also. And I've cut this paper 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. So it'll fit right here. And I'm just going to put glue on the 3 sides. I hold my finger where I don't want the glue so I don't get it upside down. And just place it. And now we have a pocket. And now we can go ahead and glue this down. And I'm just going to put glue on that little piece of grungy coffee paper, not on the whole thing. so that you can flip it up to use that pocket. And then I'm just trying to center it a little bit, give it some margin. Nothing fancy. Looks like I oozed a little bit. Let's get that cleaned up. I'm going to cut a scrap of paper so we have something to put in our pocket. Well, let's just use this cut off. Well, it's a little long, isn't it? Cut it a little bit. And fold it in half so there's some more journaling space. And go ahead and pop that in our pocket. And our tag. Now we need to put our button here at this top, and can use the center on the centering ruler, or the center of 7 is 3.5, but we're going to make a mark. And yeah, that's going to be good. Okay, what I'm going to, before I punch that hole, I'm going to be a little proactive. I'm going to go ahead and poke through it with my pokey tool. And now I can go ahead and glue this so I know where it is, so I can get it on target, and then we can punch them both at the same time. And I've got my little mark, so I can go ahead and give it a punch, centering the mark in that little hole. I'm going to ink this part a little bit more. It's more difficult after I get that button in there. I don't want it to be in the way. That works. And then I'm going to take my next little eyelet, go ahead and place that in, and through all my little layers so it's poking out, and gravity. Okay, so it's in there. And let's set the eyelet. Give it a squeeze, and there it is. That's going to be nice. Okay, and then I've got some pearl cotton that we used yesterday in our project. So we're going to have a uniform look, and it says variegated. I don't have the color of it, but use whatever will work with your decorator paper that you're going to use. And I'm just going to cut a strand double and a little bit long, just so that I have enough. And I'm here, let's get that covered up because I'm an accident waiting to happen. And I'm going to bring that right over the loop or the button and go ahead and tie it. And I'm going to use a double knot, double tie. Bring my strings together again. Oh, clumsy. And go ahead and wrap it how I'd like it to be. And then I can grab my, and this charm was silver, and I used that marker. It's this one, E79 Cashew. And, you know, just colored it in so it's not shiny silver. It dries pretty quick. You can use alcohol inks if you'd like, but this is neater. It's not as messy. But use what you have. And then I'm going to go ahead and just put the strings through the jump ring. Maybe. And see where I'd like it to be. And then I'm going to hold on to it and untie it so I've got room. And now I'm just going to go ahead and tie a knot. And then go ahead and tie. That works. So then we can go ahead and cut that off. Don't need that. Okay, now for a little label so we can put a ticket in. And these are at half the size, and this one was whole size, I think. No, half. So, I'm thinking I want that red one. Then it'll be, like here I use the brown one, but if I use the red one, it brings out that color. So let's just go ahead and cut that out. And you can cut around the little corners if you want, but I'm just going to pop it into my 1/4 inch rounder and cut it that way. And then go ahead and just ink my edges. Double check. Yes, that's what I want. And now I need a little bit of cardstock to back this on. So let's go ahead and just glue that on. And I'm just giving it a border on 2 sides so that I'll only have to cut 2 sides. Get all my glue ooze out now. And I'm going to use that 1/4 inch rounder again for my corners. Ink my edges up. And now I'm going to use the brush and grungy this up a little bit. Oops, tools are flying. I'm going to make sure I don't have any ridges. They'll get pronounced with the ink. And wipe off the excess glue. Making sure I don't have any glue on the top. And then we'll just use our makeup brush. There. Got glue all over my fingers. Get rid of that. Okay, now we'll go ahead and glue 3 sides of it. Put the top back in the glue. And our little, oh, I got gluey fingers. Okay, let's rub the glue off. And it's just a little cardstock tag that I punched out. I've got a small punch that just punches this size tag. Nice and easy. And then it fits right in. Get my strings together, and here we've got 2 little, oh, what should we call them? Envelope pockets? I don't know. I better think of something though, huh? Got to put it in the description. I'm going to have Artzology's link to her Etsy shop for these kits in the instruction. My tongue doesn't work today. In the description box below. And I'm going to have to think of a name. It'll be something silly, I suppose, but it'll work. But here we go. I love it. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.